Today is the day that if you own a GPU, you have access to AGI. No, I'm just playing. Today, Qwen3.8 27B launched, and man, there is a lot to talk about. Let's go. So first and foremost, salutes to everybody who came through on the live stream today. We were battling, guys. We did a 5-hour live. As you can see, it's actually still right here live on Twitter. It's also live on the YouTube channel. We had 300 people in the chat, and we spent the first hour trying to get this model running correctly. It was definitely a toss-up. It was definitely a little difficult, but we got it finally running. We got it running on one DGX Spark, and we got it running on two 3090s. And we got it running on two 3090s with the same exact speed that we got it running with our previous 3.6 27B model, which is around 70 to 100 tokens per second. And then we also got it running on the DGX Spark, which we had it running at, I think, around 23 tokens per second or so. It's a fairly slow model right now. Typical 20s, 31 was the best case, so it was a little doozy. But we know already when it comes to the DGX Spark, running very dense models can be extremely difficult for the overall hardware. With that said, I would give it some time. Somebody is going to get out there and make it a better quant when it comes to the single sparkers out there. But me personally, where I'm headed with this, I'm going to be somebody who's going to run this model on quad, I'm actually running on quad 3090s, but two instances on two 3090s. I would love, though, I might piggyback off some people that make some stuff or do some testing as well. But me, preferably right now, I'm still going to be running with this on the 3090s and running DeepSeek on the two DGX Sparks. Now, with that said, if you own one DGX Spark or you run one 3090, you can still utilize the repos that I will list down below. You're just going to run it. Well, technically, my repo is for one. My 3090 is for two. You can still run it TP1 and get some decent speeds overall. But we did test it with FP8 on the 3090s, and we also tested it with 4-bit on the 3090s. There's a ton of repos. Like I said, I'll just make sure to link it all down below. Now, with that said, it took about 2 hours to get it running. We finally did. If you have one DGX Spark, Tony, Tony, what model should I run? Should I run DeepSeek, a 2-bit? Should I run this? It's still kind of a toss-up. Like right now, we're still in a weird space where it's hard to find a particular model that runs really well with one DGX Spark. And I've always said this before, and I hate to say it because I know people out there, it's not cheap. But if you're gonna have like one 3090 versus one DGX Spark, the 3090 kind of is the better buy at the single price point for speed purposes specifically, not for overall what you can do. Because on one DGX Spark, you could technically run two instances, one instance of 27B and one instance of 35BA3, and kind of work those two together. You could run multiple instances of 27B if you want, or you could just run one and then have a whole bunch of concurrency. You got a lot of options, but you're going to be dealing with the speed hiccups that we stated before. If you can deal with 20 tokens per second, by means, go for it. But there's other models out there. I've seen people, like I said, running the 2-bit DeepSeek, which is an MOE, which MOEs run better on Spark. So it's kind of hard to justify running this on there. It's just going to be slow. But if you have patience, go ahead. But man, the patience is crazy. We tested it with having it run on the Spark to build a website, right? A UAP website. And it took like an hour to do this. It was extremely slow, guys. Extremely slow because of it being 20 tokens per second. You can see at the bottom right here, like 19 tokens per second. The actual site, came out pretty decent for the most part. You got some animation, you got a little UAP, you got some shooting stars that drove by, breaks down some of the current news, case files, a whole little setup, of a timeline, telemetry. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Forgive me, I'm stupid, I get it. But, made a little nice site there, but it took a very, very long time. But the model itself, it does pretty well with making your typical websites. And I've seen people even make better ones as well with better prompts. So I'm pretty sure it can get the job done there. But then also, let me pull up Twitter because we posted a lot of our stuff over on Twitter as well. Let's see. Make sure y'all follow me over on Tech2Wild, by the way. So the first thing we ended up doing was making a Super Mario game, right? Super Tony's out here, Super Mario game. My bad. Nope. I mean, I could just jump this. We started off by making a Super Tony game. Can't die. It one-shotted this for the most part. We had to just change some colors around, but it made this game, pretty funny, pretty cool for what it did. It was very unique for the most part. but it did that, you know, made that real quick. That was pretty fast. And we ended up doing a lot of our tests, basically moving it to the 3090 because it was just going to take too long. At the end of the day, the 3090 and the Sparks were basically running both 4-bit, so you're pretty much seeing the same exact results. We also did the Pelican test as well, which I don't know what's going on, this was my guys trying it. This is my first time ever really doing this test. He riding down the street, not really bad at all. But one of the things that the model for me had issues with was doing a Vox. It could not do the voxel at all. Now, other people out there were doing it, and you know, shout outs to them. Shout outs to homie West. Let me see if I can pull him up because I'm on my other account right now. But yeah, I mean, he was doing it. You know, I could not get it to give me some good quality. If you go look at the live stream, it was just spewing out bull BS pretty much. But he's getting it at 23 tokens per second, and then he has it here at 38 tokens per second with D-Flash. So that's another thing, and this is on Llama while this is on VLLM. So there's been a lot of people putting out stuff with D-Flash, people putting out stuff for SG Lang as well. As I stated before, there's going to be some people by the end of the day that are going to be able to achieve maybe 38 to 40 tokens per second on one Spark. And one person in particular I got to just give a shout out to that you guys need to make sure y'all are following is Space Time Viking. Okay, he's going to be the one that you want to follow. He's going to be the one that's going to be able to deploy it and get this out. An uncensored model as well. He is very solid. He's my go-to guy for single Spark overall models and setups and single Spark, specifically in the Qwen 3.5, 6, and 3.8 family. So go and check him out. Now, with that said, though, that was some of the things that we created. The website, we created Super Mario, we created the voxel was destroyed at this point. And then we actually did a eval on it as well. Now the eval that I made, this eval is a personal eval for me, right? For basically a lot of the tool calling that I do from a day-to-day, like day-to-day tool calling, which matter of fact, now that I said that, hold on. Hey, Kai, I want you to do me a quick favor. I'll get back with you on this video render that you just sent me, but can you run a quick eval now pointed at the 3090 27B? One of them, whichever one you want to do, GP01, or you could do the proxy, or you could do GPU01 or GPU2 and 3. Just run the eval though. So that's going to allow us to now to be able to run this. But the reason why I'm saying that, can I just stop? I just got to show y'all something real quick. I got to see this. We're having fun with Minimax. I'm sorry. Okay. The audio was horrible. Okay, back to that. Anyways, so we ran it there. We knew that the speed was going to be horrible, right? So I didn't really care about that. What I was really looking for was quality, because quality is how the overall model does with the overall tool calls. Turning on quality and sorting it by quality, it actually did extremely, extremely well. It tied with quality with DeepSeek V4 Flash D-Spark thinking off FP8. And this is actually, which I still don't know why, but this is actually the preview model where let me see where it's at. I want to say the official model might have been lower. So the official model was 91.3. I don't know why, but apparently it failed on one of the tools that the others didn't. So that's where I got that number at. But basically, on top of that, it also ranked as the #1 27B model compared to all the previous ones I've ran. So right now, as we're talking, though, we are running this again on the two 3090s. This was ran on the Spark. So this is running via NVFP4. So we'll see this pop up by the end of this video. It failed here because the tool calls were ruined, but this is obviously how it's running. It was doing a good job. Got a couple of partials. It failed on a couple of these right here, but basically it did amazing for its model and its size. The only issue really was the 11 tokens per second decode that it had. So that's why it was pretty low. But I mean, it was beating out Minimax M3, some other DeepSeeks that we were running, Kimi K2 that we ran at a 2-bit quant a little while back, GLM Reaps and all that. So it did fairly well for the most part. I'm very curious though now how this will work if the tokens go up a little bit higher. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes overall, but very, very solid model. Once again, this has nothing to do with like reasoning and intelligence. It's more so about how well it does its tool calling, what it fails and what it can achieve. And that's kind of how it's based on. And right now, man, Mimo has been at the top since June. GLM got close. GLM actually, yeah, it got close, but it still failed on, or not failed, but I guess it got a partial on one that Mimo pretty much knocked out all the way. So for the most part, with all that said, like I did those little bit of testings. I'm not really mad at the model. I feel like where I'm going to see more of it is from an agentic standpoint with my automations. Some of you guys ask, like, what are those automations? I made a video a while back, which if I can remember to link it, it's on my main channel. But basically, like, what I utilize a lot of from an agentic standpoint is I run a couple of social media accounts. I run a couple of Shopify's via MCP tools. I run a couple of course, like I said, other social medias within video, on Twitter, on Instagram. I have it handling, this is very simple, but I have it handling my emails. I have it handling a lot of my Shopify stores, which I own 2 eBay accounts. And also when it comes to like building upon the specific Shopify websites and themes, I do that as well. And then I've also worked with companies building out little games and stuff like that here and there. So I have it working more so from an agentic standpoint. I do utilize it for coding here and there, but I usually when I'm like trying to do something very big in coding, I'm going to then direct it more to like something like Codex and like Cloud Code. As I've always said, I build my skills and I build out the workflows and I build out the pipelines utilizing cloud models. The cloud models set it up and they pretty much give the instructions to these local models, which then they just go on repeat. And for the most part, 27B is very, very capable of that. And it's definitely probably even more capable of doing stuff on its own as well. So, you know, all this stuff came in the day. I got to do my own testing, seeing how it is. I literally haven't even had time to sit down and actually like converse with an agent back and forth to see. I mean, I've worked with it via the harness and stuff like that, but I really haven't had a full-time overall just messing with it, you know? But I will say they did put out some benchmarks on the model, and compared to its previous model, of course, there is some pretty good leaps, and also compared to Opus 4.8, in which it is competing a lot with. And this is very important for me because back when I started this channel or even started doing AI stuff, Opus 4.6 was the model. It was the model that built out a lot of stuff that I still use today. And having that now downstairs at home is crazy. You know, and when I say that because it's beating Opus on a couple of benchmarks. You know, it's pretty much beating all these benchmarks right here. Now, Opus does not, 4.6 does not have it here, but it's very close and on par with Opus on a lot of these actual benchmarks in general. So it's very solid out the gate. It's killing 3.7 plus, and as well as its predecessor as well. A very, very capable model. And this is a model that I always tell you guys, I'm not a guy that's going to say always, I mean, if you want to go fully local, you can, but I will say that, hold on. I'm not against going fully local, but what I'm saying is I will always go the hybrid route. And if I can go hybrid where my orchestrator is the cloud model and then my workers are all local, 27B is going to be capable for about 98% of the task to 90 to 98% of the tasks that I need to do. Like, I'm not that sophisticated yet. I never try to be. And I feel like I can be still relatable to a lot of people out there that could utilize agentic workflows and agentic work to build out things that they want to do for their daily living or their business, all that. This model is definitely capable of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it is not, you know, coming in out the gate somewhere in the 40s, 45-ish. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We'll just have to wait and see. I still like my overall verdict on the model, though, from what I have seen, it is very capable. It does feel smarter. As far as it's a heavy thinker, but there's 3 levers to the thinker as well. I think it comes in default on X high and then the medium low. And I think it's also just an off too. I've ran it with thinking off. Let me confirm. I think that we just got the eval done, and I want to make sure that this is, oh my, there you go. This is no cap. This is no cap, guys. It is number 1. It is number 1. I gotta tweet this. It came in at number 1. Wait, hold on. Wait. Yeah, it came in at number 1. Number 1, deployability. Quality wise, it's number 3. Decode is not going to be there. Quality is number 3, and deployability. That's what like the usual. I want to make sure that's the usual setting. Yeah, that's how we use it. Deployability basically is shown. It kind of brings it all together. The overall tokens per second, the overall responsiveness, the quality, all together, and it ties it. It failed one though compared to partial. Invented a recipe. So that's a little off. I need to look into what that is, but I'm not lying to you guys. We just did this right now, and it just ended up being number 1 on my benchmark. This site is open, by the way. I'll leave it down below in the description. If I can remember, leave everything down below in the description. This site where I do all my testing, my benchmarks are all down here. Yeah, this one threw me off. And then the decode coming in at 77 alongside with the token. I don't know if it does put it time to first token here, but this is very, very solid. Very, very solid. And then from a quality standpoint, it outbeat the 4-bit version that we ran on the DGX Spark, which I don't know, it just did better. So yeah, we don't have any full-on overall other benchmarks really. We got to kind of wait. There is the second part of this, computer use. It's high up there. Look at the computer use. It's great. Browser use, which are very important as well, being able to navigate the web. Mobile interaction, application reaction, multi-module tool use, which is solid as well. This model can text, of course, image and video. So that's like, close to Omni. Only thing I think is missing is text to speech, which is not a big issue. I think text to speech or speech to text, my bad. I think speech to text is kind of like, it's not like overrated, but like you can use dictation on any device at this point, whether it's on your phone, on your computer, you can speak and the words get turned into it without even having to send that directly to the model. But there's definitely some use cases for it, so I'm not knocking it. Visual web development, something I want to look into and see how I can actually design websites. We saw that already with this particular UAP thing, how it did. Visual math problem solving, which is pretty good as well, especially for somebody like me that I utilize this year agentic work to do my taxes. I have an agent that does specifically stuff for me with my bank accounts. It's connected to Plod or Played or whatever I think it's called, where it's connected to all my banks, and it helps me with accounting and just making sure everything is good, making sure my money's looking good, you feel me? So it's doing good with that. And I would guess that the visual math problem solving standpoint is more than likely probably from actually seeing things like maybe PDFs and graphs and actual visualization of math or numbers or something of that nature. General vision reasoning, which is good as well, especially if you're somebody that works in, web development or something like that. Again, it needs to be able to see what is going on to make corrections. Unfortunately for Voxel, it was unable to do that. We did get some okay ones. Like, let me see if I can pull it up, right? I think this is like the last one we got. Like this one, it was better actually. It got worse. It got worse. It was actually better before, and then he tried to fix it, and it just was worse, bro. So there's plenty of other people that were successful with this, but not me. Scientific chart analysis, document intelligence, which is another big thing, as I stated before, PDFs, any type of information you feed to it, very big. And real world perception, very solid as well. I'm very curious on what that means, if this is like anything from a robotic standpoint or what. Real world perception and an embodied intelligence. Solid model overall based upon the benchmarks. If you want me to do a dedicated follow-up video within a week, just talking about it, which I think I should anyway, I will. I think it's just makes sense to do it. I'm going to play around with this model though and see how it goes. We got it running on 2 instances. I don't see what could be wrong at this point. This thing out the gate is looking pretty solid, and I'm only seeing happy people right now, and I'm happy. So let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions down below. I will leave links to repos down below as much as I can to all my information if you want to learn more about it. And I will see y'all on the next one. I'm out. I love y'all. Peace.